And joining me in studio to further unpack this is Sipho Mahlangu, who is a political analyst. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Prime.
Good morning to you, Lauren.
Good morning.
Good morning, Africa.
This indeed is a new narrative that we're seeing here. Did you expect this?
Well, I didn't expect it. I knew, of course, that the president was going to respond, and he is entitled to respond as a citizen. I did not expect that a charge was going to be laid against Ms. Madonsela. But I think in light of the law in this country, it has to be done that way. And the reasons are this. According to the Public Protectors Act, no such information should be given out, or unless the public protector decides. But you see, when Ms. Madonsela released this to one media house or one news station, particularly the ENCA, she was no longer the public protector. Ms. Busisiwe Mkhwebane was now the public protector. So either she could have done this on her last day in office, which she couldn't have because there was then an interdict against the report. And this audio footage, this audio material she possesses is a part of the report. So there was no way she could have released it on her last day. And she's released it after she's moved on to another organization when there is an incumbent public protector. And I think the stance of the new public protector, and then from the feeling of the president, is that his rights have been violated because that is against the public protector's code. And she was no longer the public protector. She should have handed everything to the new public protector. The then incumbent public protector should take the case forward. It should not be her legacy project. It shouldn't be her baby. It's not her personal vendetta. It was just for her to leave it, and then the new public protector should decide in the realm of the rule of law what she wants to do with this report.
Now, what does this do to the integrity of the public protector's office? I mean, the public protector at the moment is laying a charge against the former public protector. Where does this leave the office?
I think the office will come into disrepute, and this happens because Ms. Mkhwebane was not given the ray of light that Ms. Madonsela was given, and we don't know why. She has not been given an opportunity to prove herself, and that is unfair. When she came in, she was already called a spy. Aspersions were cast against her. You know, people were claiming she's been captured by the president, captured by the Gupta family. And this woman is an advocate. She has served her time in the state. You know, she's got incredible credentials, and she's come in, and I felt South Africa should have given her the leeway. They should have given her the respect, the decorum, and the freedom to do her job and judge her after she has worked, in the same way that we gave Thuli her purpose and her duty. But the challenge came when the aspersions were being cast, and Thuli is no prisoner to that as well. Because she has been called a spy before, she's been called an agent for white monopoly capital. And it seems like it is a communism versus capitalism rush, because she has to come out and say why she released that audio recording. But I want to tell you this, Lauren, it's not going to be easy for Thuli to defend this, because it is against the Public Protectors Act. Her reasoning will be that she's done this to prove that she did give the president an opportunity to respond, or she did give the president an interview. But she is no longer in the office. When I pack my bags from the channel and I work for another organization, I shouldn't keep the footage and the emails and everything that belongs to this organization, because it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the organization. And I think in the spirit of truth and humility, everything that Ms. Madonsela did, she did not do in her personal capacity, unless it is then a personal vendetta against the president. She did it in the office of the public protector, and it is the office that is pleading charges. It is the office that wanted to release the report. And so media articles are running and saying Ms. Busisiwe Mkhwebane is charging Thuli. It is not her, it is the office, in light of the president's desire to have Thuli charged, because he is also a member of the public. And also within it is his constitutional right to have his rights expedited. It is his right to take it to court if he feels that his legal integrity, his personhood, his security was violated. And that's an opportunity that has to be granted to the president. But this leaves the entire office in disrepute.
Now, could Thuli Madonsela, use the fact that it was in the public interest in this case?
Well, it has always been in the public interest. It was in the public interest when that interdict was served. It is still in the public interest. I think what many media houses will have to ask is why it was released to one media house, one news agency, if it wasn't in the public interest. It shouldn't have been an ENCA claim because the ENCA is not the South African public. In Thuli Madonsela style, it should have been a news conference, a media conference where everybody's called and she releases that audio, footage, audio material, and she says why she did it, and she explains the story, and South Africa runs with the story. But for it to look like it has leaked, and we get to hear about it in other news agencies, and I'm sitting in my office trying to find out how true this is. And many of our journalists in big media houses say, we haven't heard the audio. We're still searching for it. I think that raises a lot of questions and suspicions to why it was released when it was, and if it is in the public interest, as everything she has done with regard to the president has always been in the public, forum, in the judge, in the office or the courtroom of public opinion. It should have been put out there so South Africans can make their mind. So how it's just looking at this stage is that there are personality clashes, and we want to avoid that. I think Ms. Madonsela has made the president her legacy project, and this was her last swipe. A good one at that, because Thuli is very good at what she does. But I think that it's going to make the office, a Chapter 9 institution, a trusted office, difficult to run. It's going to make Busisiwe's job a very difficult job. And there are issues that have to be taken forward in this country. We're possibly going to run out of time now, and we'll take it up on Twitter. But I think it's going to put the office in disrepute. And this is something that should have been avoided. South Africa doesn't deserve two public protectors now running to the courts. We are already in the courts of public opinion anyway, and so there are issues of the poor that have to be addressed. There's issues of land in this country that we've got to look at. The issues of the indigent that Ms. Mkhwebane says she's passionate about, and all those things are taking a back seat because we're looking at these personalities struggling it through. So we live in serious times, Lauren, but we also live in exciting times. I think South Africans must wait and see and not cast aspersions. Let us allow the law to take its course, and
Definitely. Lastly, before we let you go, the Democratic Alliance leader Mmusi Maimane has slammed Mkhwebane's pursuit of Madonsela, saying that this was confirmation of the party's suspicion that she would be a pliable public protector. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that's a less accusation from the DA. The DA was one of the first people, or the first group, the first organization to call Ms. Mkhwebane a spy. I felt at the time that it put her integrity on the line, but it also made, she has worked for state security. She's been very vocal about that. It's out there. We have her CV. But I felt that at the time that the DA was doing this, it put a lot of our people out in state security offices, in various embassies or missions across the world in danger. She has come out and said she was never a spy, and people can investigate that if they want to. So this is a lesser accusation that comes from the DA. So we really render that they never loved her, and they will continue to cast deeper aspersions. But you see, Lauren, in the political periphery, if you are against President Zuma, the opposition grants you their friends. their friend. If you're with him, they grant you their enemy. Or if you make a move that seems to credit him, you are their enemy. And they should also allow him to not be speculated upon, to exercise his constitutional right, and not to break down the woman before we know, the plausible reasons to why this is happening. She is the public protector, and if she doesn't take a complaint, what does that make her? In the same way that Ms. Madonsela said she had to investigate the president on the state capture issue because the DA made a complaint. It is in the same way that Ms. Mkhwebane has to investigate Ms. Madonsela because the president made a complaint.
Exactly.
So,
Mr. Mahlangu, thank you so much for your professional opinion here on Morning Live. We really do appreciate your time here this morning. Thank you.
Good day.